Hey everybody, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This is going to be of the McFarlane Toys The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt newest series of figures, which we have Geralt of Rivia in his wolf armor and Ciri. Very excited to have both of these, especially Ciri, brand new to the line. Geralt is a new sculpt, but I mean we already have two different versions of Geralt so far. Very excited again to say because I really like this game. I was very excited for these figures, and seems like we're getting some more stuff, including repaints of both of these characters, as well as a frost giant coming soon. Very excited. Hopefully they continue to line with some other characters, some different armors for Geralt, as well as we need Yennefer and Triss, I think, and also Roach, please. So anyway, let's just go ahead and talk about the packaging for both these figures at the same time. It says Witcher 3 Wild Hunt on the top of the box. There you get the figures in the box, as well as the contents that they come with, as well as there's some designs in the backdrop there with the red box there. We get down to the bottom here, and you can see both of the characters' names. And we get to the side, and both this side right here is going to be the same for both figures. It says The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt with a design on the side of the box there. It does say CD Projekt Red. We got on this side, it's going to be different slightly. You can see the McFarlane Toys logo for both figures, but it will have each character's name on there, the full name too, and the full version of what these figures are, as you can see there. Now we look at the top of the box. It does say 14 plus, not a toy, as well as a red McFarlane Toys logo there. Now to the back here, again, it will say Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, as well as a McFarlane Toys logo right there. But we also have images of both figures nicely displayed on the back with their names, as well as it says 22 moving parts, the CD Projekt Red logo. We also have McFarlane Toys and McFarlaneToys.com, McFarlane.com and whatnot. Then we get to the bottom here, which is a bunch of warnings, as well as the CD Projekt Red logo and some barcodes in case you need them. Let's go ahead and get these figures out of the packaging. So here are both figures out of the packaging, and I may have said it in both Witcher videos previous to this one that I made on my channel. May have some bias, but I do think that these are very solid figures. Not perfect, though. They do have issues. Common across the board with McFarlane Toys, but also unique to both of these figures. Let's go ahead and take a look at Geralt first, since there is a little bit of reuse. And, I just want to talk about him first, and then we'll take a look at Ciri and take a little bit more time with her. Before we get started, I forgot to mention, like with all the Witcher figures, as well as pretty much every McFarlane Toys figure, we do have a circular stand of this, the Witcher 3, that is taped into the box. That I don't want to ruin the inside of the box to take out, but you can see what that looks like right there. Let's talk about one thing that is pretty common with the Geralts so far is the sword holsters, and at least the steel sword, because we do have a different silver sword this time around. First of all, let's bring out this version here. This is the gold label version, which has the same colors as the retail first version that came out a few months ago. As you can see, pretty much when you look close, same details down to, with like designs and whatnot, but differences in colors of paint. We have darker overall paint here. You can see maybe like a little bit of a lighter black or something that almost looks blue, and there's like a dark black there, light and brown darks there, but again, the sculpt is relatively the same. Guess what, guys? I might have showed it off already earlier, but we don't have the covered sword holsters, sadly. The sheets, I should say. So that's a bit sad. I wish they were covered, because it looks kind of ugly. Oh well. Take a quick look at the silver sword. I'm sorry, this is the steel sword, of course. A lot of you immediately probably jumped on the gun in the comments. Don't worry, I know, I just said it wrong. I'm just teasing. Anyway, I think the paint might be a little bit darker on the handle of the new one. That's about it when it comes to differences, because this is a pretty much reused sculpt. But I just wish that they actually painted some metallic silver on the blade, because there is none, sadly. It just looks like this light gray plastic. Not really digging it too much. But the handles, when you get to like the guard, the pommel and whatnot, sculpting is pretty good. And there's again the only painted part of that sword. Now let's take a look at the new silver sword. I dig this. It's not too different from the previous one. Actually, it's completely different. Scratch that. Different pommel altogether, different handle, and different guard. This is more like a crescent. I dig that a little bit more. This is more like a V shape. I mean, that's more what a lot of people associate Witcher with, of course. But man, this is cool. I dig that. But again, there's a little bit of details that look like it's got a little bit of damage in the sword, just a little bit. But not much paint. There's a little bit of brown actually on the guard, as you can see right there. So that's a bit disappointing, but man, I do like the overall sculpt of our new silver sword. Now we do have completely new accessories, which I love this. This is an Igni hand, a left hand here. As you can see, just shoot some fire. And it's mostly just one color of orange with a bit of a I mean, there's just a lot of solid plastic in there, but it's pretty much a translucent plastic. It looks great, though. A little bit of color comes through of different, like darker and brighter orange, as you can see. There's what the hand looks like, with a little bit of leather details sculpted in there. And then the studs or whatever on the knuckles. Looking great. I do wish that this came off, but it would have, you know, exposed a peg that is keeping this all. There's some glue, I'm pretty sure, in there. So, that's fine. And I'll do this on camera real quick. One thing I want to mention is that this pops off a little too easily, and it's not compatible. I've checked already. The peg on the previous one is too big, so you can't reuse this piece. But that's how it looks, and this actually stays in a little bit better than the hand he comes back with. So, that's pretty rad, I think. Last but not least, we have the Griffin trophy head. This is awesome. Great details. In the last video I did, we took a look. I don't even know if I have it on me, but we have the there it is. We have the werewolf head here. I think the sculpting is actually better with the werewolf head, but the paint is better, I think, here. But sculpting is great, don't get me wrong on this thing. Just slightly better on werewolf's head. But the paint, at least with the blood and details here, where he gets severed and whatnot, look amazing. Look at all that nice dark red going on in there. Even on the hair. It's great. Just the solid black paint, but the paint does look good. Look at those eyes. The rope that is painted and sculpted as well. And this is a softer plastic. I really, really like this. I hope if and when, excuse me, we get a roach, that it will have a way for you to hook on the trophy onto him. Now we do have this hook that's not as big as the previous Geralt's, and it's even weaker because carrying it. Well, you don't want to do this because it's hanging too low. But yeah, it's just not going to work. So this whole system here is really meant for you to hold the trophy in one of the hands right there. I have one of those hands off right now, but it looks good holding it, I think. So overall, the only thing I wish he would have come with, which he doesn't really use that much if you're using it in the game, is a crossbow, since it is part of his arsenal. But everything we have so far with him is pretty awesome. So, do we have a reused head sculpt from the previous Geralt, which is on the right? I have no idea. Part of me thinks yes, part of me thinks no. I feel like this is a little bit of a different sculpt when it comes to it being like a little bit longer, like top to bottom, I guess. I don't know. It just looks a little bit rounder to me. But the scars and a lot of the different paint is relatively in the same place, and the sculpt of the hair is definitely the same. So if it is reused, I kind of wish it was a bit different. There's not that much different hairstyles, but a different hairstyle for a Geralt here would have been nice. However, look at this. Just like the previous one, it looks great. It's like they're using digital face printing on here, kind of like with Marvel Legends. But I think it's fantastic. The scars came through extremely well, I think. And we do also have just some different variations of skin tones. It's darker in some areas. I think the paint on the hair could be a little bit better with a little bit of variations of white and the gray there. And also in his actual hair. But overall, solid. Love it. Complete new body here. Which if you really wanted to, if you want to take the head off or use a different head or even just use it as is, for certain toy photography, this could be like a knight bandit almost looking character. Because look at this nice armor. This like nice almost chainmail up here around the arms and chest with this maroonish reddish color here. See that satchel? I have no idea what these are supposed to be quite honest. Lots of great details going on right here though. This whole thing is a soft plastic piece, as you can see. My finger was bleeding earlier. Apologies. But as you can see, just pop in the sword holster like that. And the only thing I feel like his back Same thing with Ciri. I feel like his back is arched a little too much this time around. Now, this is a soft plastic, but it stays in a certain sculpt mostly. So if you try to make it a little bit more straight, not only does he look like he's hunched forward, this piece is going to look like it's all the way pushed back. So that's a little weird. You're not going to notice the hunched back too much, I think. That's fine. The details on this right here. I remember I had some old Toy Biz Lord of the Rings figures, and those were actually really nicely detailed in the back then. I think I had like Aragorn that had similar armor. I think in like, I don't remember the second one. The second movie. Anyway, it reminds me of that because it looks that good, I think. So that's awesome with a little bit of variations of, I don't know if they're just missing some paint apps. That could be a possibility, but mostly silver going on. What else? Silver buckle there, which could actually, it just kind of looks more like a gray. This is also a gray piece, that hook right there. A little bit of silver going on the belt though, and it has now lots of light, nice leather and whatnot and straps. Great, it just look great. Seriously. Now we get down to the pants. These also look like leather with some nice lines and details. Little design right here on this part of the leg as well as here. We do have a knife that is completely painted in or molded really in a color with a little bit of soft plastic. It is glued on here, and it will not come out of a the knife will not come out. He doesn't really use a knife at all, so but I don't know. I wish this was an actual accessory. That's my only thing. But everything still looks good. We have some black and some silver going on the knees. The joint here going through the black joint going through the brown looks a little weird. But we do have some nice glossy details right here on the rest of the boots, looking really, really nice. One thing I had a problem, I forgot to mention the gauntlets. The gauntlets look great. Look at the hands. Nice leather, a little bit of red here with some brown, some dark brown. One thing I want to mention is you can see with these joints, just like previous McFarlane Toys figures, I don't like that these look distracting because they're all a smooth sculpt and they're not detailed at all. That details could get in the way of articulation and actual like posability and whatnot, but I don't know. I just look a little weird to me. Not as much down here in the legs. You can kind of get away with it a little bit more. This is what the top of the feet look like, though. And then there's the bottom of the feet. I'll try to zoom out real quick. You can see a little bit of my room. This thing just looks fantastic, man. Overall, great details. Quick articulation run down here. We do have swivel here at the head. I think the head articulation here is actually better than previous Geralt. The head doesn't still want to go up that much, but it does go down really far. Side to side, really nice. And then we do have head swivel. It just feels a little bit easier to move this head, but without it being loose, though. We do have a bit of a, it's not the greatest, but a bit of a butterfly joint. And the arms do go all the way around. That's how far in and out they go. We do have upper arm swivel here. Double jointed elbows. We have the wrist articulation that hinges here, but also swivels at both areas here, so then you can do that. Soft to good, or yeah, not soft goods, but a soft plastic piece here with a nice swivel, but it can go forward. Like it's actually just a little forward's a little bit difficult for some reason. Back like so. A little bit more details if you lift that up a little bit, side to side like that. Thigh articulation is actually a little bit better here. It's not a complete swivel, but it actually can get some swivel out of there. And this crotch piece is also soft plastic, so it goes forward that much. Actually wants to go back pretty far, but if you keep it that way, it will warp the plastic in and out there. Double joint knees, as you can see there. We do have swivel here at the ankle. Just a quick rotation and up and down. A bit of a rocker, which I'm having trouble moving that around. And then we do have toe articulation. Now, Ciri may not come with as much as Geralt, but she still comes with some cool stuff. We have her sheath here, which has similar detail. I have no idea, actually, if this is the exact same sheath. This actually might be this. No, it is a different sculpt overall. It's shorter, and the way that there's like a V there, that's just a flat surface. So this is a new sculpt for a holster, or I keep saying holster, it's a sheath. Of course it's a sheath. Looking great. I think the paint on here also looks really good with the black and the maroonish little peg right there, which pegs right there on the back. I don't know if this is rubbing off on the back here, and that will be worrisome. Be careful with that. I think there might be some of that going on to there, so that's a little disappointing. It plugs in like that. Here is the silver sword. Actually, I think it was, I forget. might be steel and silver. I don't remember. One of you will comment down there. But yeah, just one sword for her. Great details. Looks just like her sword in the game. I think the paint could be a little bit better with the variation on the handle here. And of course, just like Geralt, it needs better silver paint. There's the pommel. Looks good though. And overall, again, you just sheathe it like so. That's great. I almost forgot we do have a translucent effects piece here. This is like a tealish translucent color. It's just really nice. So it's just like a zigzag whenever you played her in the game and she used her effects pieces. Now it's a little tricky, but there is some slots here that you'll just want to weave in and out a bit carefully with the sword, and it actually stays in there pretty nice. I have not had her hold her sword with this on yet. This could make her top heavy. We'll see when I talk about that later, when I do some shots of what she looks like with some of her accessories. But again, not as much as Geralt this time around, but when it comes to accessories, still pretty solid stuff though. Now, part of me thinks that when it comes to the likeness of how she looks in the game, it's not super accurate with this figure, but I mean, still, I think it's Ciri. It's hard to not see Ciri with this face sculpt. It looks great. Very gorgeous sculpt and paint going on twice with this figure. We do have a nice red line on her face like her scar is in the game. We do have some nice lip color there, but I don't think there's much when it comes to paint variation in the skin tone like with Geralt. But the eyes are great, and the eyebrows came out really nice. Now it's just a plain paint color for the hair, but it's sculpted nice with a nice bun there, and it's shorter hair, so head articulation is not going to be hindered. You might be able to get better head articulation here than Geralt. We do have some nice straps going on through here. Now this is a soft sculpt right here. There's her blouse, her shirt. Now I'm not a peeker, okay? I'm not a perv, but you can notice some stuff underneath there, as you can see. We do also have just some brown here with some straps, as well as this little armband piece or whatever. I think I mentioned this already. The strap, which feels like a separate piece. I think it is actually, like, not part sculpted into the shirt, so that's cool. Is this a corset, I guess? Not entirely sure, but I don't know what these are either. But we have some nice tealish color there with some silver painted, which looks really good. We do have a little satchel right there, and I think that also looks pretty good. It has some leather details, a little bit of a strap too. I do like the gold going on here, and this is the only thing, is that there's not much paint going on in this color right there on the arms and the back. I feel like they actually maybe put some dirt there, or that could be from the sheath. This little area right here looks dirty, so I have no idea. I really hope it's painted there, and I just hope that the sheath's color doesn't rub off on this figure. We do have some light brown with a much darker brown. I think there's some variations of brown going on right here, but similar thing with Geralt. This actually isn't a color matching with this, so that's gonna be distracting. But the hands, the gloves, do have some leather detail, and they look great with some wrinkles and whatnot. So there's the other side. So far, the details are fine. Just a little bit of inconsistent paint and whatnot. We do also have a leather pouch right there. Again, some leather details on the belt. And we do have a dark brown, leathery looking pants with some wrinkles, looking great. Some wrinkles in the back. There's some wrinkles sculpted on the joints on the back here, as well as on her arms. I think it's similar with Geralt too. I forgot to mention that. We have light brown sculpted, and I think painted as well. The straps and just overall the boot sculpt. Looks great. I didn't realize she had heels in the game. These must be hard to walk around in. But these look great. They also look like leather. It's so good. Seriously. I think maybe NECA could do a little bit of a better job, but so far, pretty great. New release of figures. Just great. Love it. So, quick, before we do articulation, I also want to do a 360 with her. You're going to see the room again. All these great details that I might have missed. That's the only thing, is that's going to be a distracting hole on her back. But, yeah. Very good looking figure. Basic articulation. Just as good as Geralt's, I think. Maybe a little bit better. We do have swivel here. A little bit of a tilty up. Okay, these figures don't look up that well at all. But hers is better than Geralt's, definitely. Down is actually pretty good as well. We do have a bit not super strong. This will pop out. I'll pop that back in. But a bit of a butterfly joint. Just go all the way around. We do have an upper arm swivel here. We do have double jointed elbows. The wrist articulation that we saw earlier with Geralt and pretty much every McFarlane Toys figure with some swivels and hinges. There's also, just like Geralt, soft plastic piece around the chest, but this is hard to move around. The swivel's fine, but the forward doesn't really feel like it wants to stay in place. Same thing with the back, maybe a little bit better with the back, but side to side, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to break something, so I'm not going to press it, you know? I think the crotch piece is a soft plastic again, so she can kick out that far. Back is pretty good too, in and out. But the thigh swivel is a little bit good, but not as new as the new Geralt we have. Double jointed knee. Not much swivel anywhere else. Swivel here at the boot. Up and down. Do have a bit of a rocker. And there's where the peg hole is going to be. We do have the toe hinge. So for quick size comparisons, I have Series 1 of the previous McFarlane Toys Witcher 3 figures. Geralt, the old one, looks shorter and actually looks more bow-legged, I realize, compared to the new one. And the older Geralt looks about the same height as Ciri. Now, Aridin, I think, needs to be taller overall, but I still think it's a good height compared with Ciri, at least. Now, here is a NECA Ezio from years ago. I think it was from Assassin's Creed Revelations. A little bit shorter, but will fit into the same scale, I think. And then on the right, we have a Marvel Legends Spider-Man, which is, of course, is going to be shorter. So overall, I really like this new series of figures of the Witcher 3 McFarlane Toys stuff. They're not perfect, of course. I think the articulation could be a little bit better, mostly in the upper thighs. You know, they're just almost non-existent at some point. It's really nice with the newer Geralt, though, I will say. Some of the paint could be better on the figures, but it's mostly the accessories I think need better paint. Definitely the swords need some silver on the blades. And I don't like the exposed sheets that we get with Geralt, but he has an awesome trophy. The figure itself, with the details and the paint apps that are there, are really good. And articulation, I think I mentioned it earlier, could be a little bit better, but it's overall really solid. Same thing with Ciri. I really like the Ciri figure. I think that they have nailed both of these, and I just really like this series. I know I like the game a lot, but I think they're doing justice when it comes to these figures, and I hope we get more in the future. These are about 20 to 25 bucks. I got mine on Amazon. They came in today, and I think they're shipping out for a lot of other people now too, and these might be at GameStops and other stores like Walmarts and Targets and whatnot. So I would check there. I'll leave some link down in the description below as well. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what you think about the figures, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.